Hey everybody. So I have a case where we had to tell our client that it was probably in her best interest not to reach out to her biological father. So welcome to Client Stories with Aimee. So our client, she was actually adopted by her grandparents. So she always knew who her biological mother was. She was kind of in and out of her life, but she knew who that side of her family was. She said her mom had a lot of addiction issues, and she had actually OD'd later on in life when our client was in her teenage years. But she was raised by her grandparents since she was about 2 years old. Because of mom's rough lifestyle, there was no idea who anybody could possibly be for a biological father candidate. There's no way to know. Biological mom had passed away, and biological mom was in and out and never said anything about it. And our client honestly said she never really cared to ask because she felt like if her mom was this kind of person, her dad must have been too. I am a firm believer that you make your own judgments about people based on how they are to you. Just because somebody is not a good person to somebody else doesn't mean they're not a good person to you. You know what I mean? You have to make your own judgments. You can't judge based on other people's experiences or what you think somebody else could be. So you never know. And even if somebody was awful 20, 30, 40 years ago, people change, right? As time goes on, people grow up, choices are made, and sometimes they change for the better, correct? So I'm always a firm believer in you make your own choices and decisions and opinions about people based on your own experiences. And we'll come back to that in a minute. So we get the DNA, we get the tree, get everything sorted following that Dana leads method, and I get everything up in there. We identify that most recent common ancestor based on those DNA matches, get them in that little cluster of people into those networks. And so we were landing on the grandparent line pretty easily. It wasn't that hard of a case. It was pretty easy. And we get to the grandparent line. And so one of their sons is the biological father, obviously. And there was 3 sons in this particular case. This family was from Kansas City, Missouri, and our client was actually born in California. So one of those brothers was in California. So I start looking at them one by one to see if anybody left Kansas City, if I can place any of them in California, if any of them might have been military or any type of job that would get them to be moving, like a truck driver, anything that I can get my hands on to see if I can get them out of Kansas City, if there's any plausible way that they would not be in Kansas City. At the time of her conception, I can place one brother for sure in New York for college. I can place the other one in Kansas City, still living with his parents. The third brother was in California. He was living in San Diego, and it kind of looked like there for a minute he might have been a drifter because you lose a little bit of public records for him for about 10 years, and then it picks right back up. We look at newspapers, and when I looked in there, you could see a whole lot of criminal history, a whole lot of things in that 10 years that I thought maybe he was just a drifter or whatever. He was in prison. And I couldn't find him more recent times. I couldn't find where he was, any contact information, no social media pages. I literally could not find anything for him for the past 5 years. And I start digging into the state records for their criminal prison records, and I find something. Although I don't find him in California, but I find him in Idaho via their prison inmate search. So when I'm looking for somebody and I can't find them, I kind of look at neighboring states. I look at neighboring states where their parents are from. I kind of look around a little bit. If I can't find him where the last known place, which in our case was in California, I then look at neighboring states, and we found him in Idaho via those correctional records. This gentleman had a very, very violent history, and you can see as the years went on, based on the newspaper records, it progressively got worse with each year that went by. With each new charge went by, it got a little bit worse. So I gave all this information to my client, all the newspaper clippings, the mugshots, everything. I gave her everything that I could find, and I told her based on the charges, I would think it was in her best interest not to reach out. However, she could write a letter to the prison, it would get to him, and she needed to make that choice for herself, but I wanted her to think long and hard on it, and just to protect herself first and foremost, to protect herself against anything that could possibly happen. Yes, he's in prison now, but he could get out and things could happen. So wanted her to be sure she was aware of the situation and to protect herself. But that's it for today. I'll see you guys later, and don't forget to hit like, follow, and share, guys. Bye.